because this renewable energy,
which is what your NGO is trying to help Nigeria do, right?
Yeah, that's part of what. No, we are more active. This project is more active on the other one I'm going to mention now.
Okay,
which
fine.
is energy efficiency.
Okay.
You all know what renewable energy. You're familiar with the solar PV systems and the rest of those are renewable because they don't emit greenhouse gases.
Okay.
Okay, you just use the power of the sun and generate electricity. That's just one of them. The other renewables like wind and the rest of them. But what we are concerned about in this project is the one I'm going to talk about now, which is energy efficiency.
Hello there. Welcome to The Conversation. My name is Reuben Okala. It was former U.S. President Barack Obama who said, and I quote, "Climate change is no longer some far-off problem. It is happening here and it's happening now." My guest is the National Coordinator of Nigeria's Sustainable Cooling Project. He has over 15 years experience working in the field of sustainable energy and climate change. My guest has been active in conducting energy and climate change research and promoting sustainable energy. He has served as a coordinator and national expert in several sustainable energy projects in Nigeria. My guest is Mr. Etiosa Uyigue. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nice to be here.
All right. There is no MNI, MOP, CON in your name.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to tell us more about your educational background before we go ahead.
Yes. Actually, I have my first and second degree in natural science, but over the past 15 years or so, I've actually picked interest in sustainable energy. So I've been working in that area, especially in the area of research advocacy. And I've published quite a number of papers on sustainable energy, both nationally and internationally. Yes.
All right, yeah. In fact, I was going to ask you why the enormous interest in climate change.
Yeah, yes.
There are so many professions, but you chose climate change as your heartbeat.
Yeah. You see, I have a particular passion for community development. You know, so we started this in my own organization. We started this advocacy on how to see what we can do to communities, especially in providing them with energy. And we look at it, grid extension to so many communities may not be very viable, maybe too expensive. And one of the ways to actually reach out to so many of these communities is to look for a way to harness the energy they need locally and just supply them. So I'll be doing that. And I also showing, of course, if you have to talk about sustainable energy actually have two components, renewable energy and energy efficiency. And they all go together, you know. So while you are generating the energy, you also have to look for a way to use the water generated efficiently, you know. So this is where my interest has been, and I've been pursuing that for the past well over 15 years now.
Okay,
that, yes.
Interesting.
So my interest, yes, that's my interest on that.
Okay. Yeah, now let's get to it proper. If I go to my village now and I ask my mother, Mama, yeah, there's this thing we call climate change. That even me, I don't even know how to explain it. So how will you explain to an ordinary old person or villagers what is climate change? How will you explain to them climate change going down their level? So what is climate change?
Yes, it's a compound.
You're not talking to me now. You're talking to the ordinary woman or man in the village.
I'll try my best.
Okay.
I'll try my best. Yes, it's a little bit technical, but I'll try my best to break it down. Well, it's a compound name from two words, climate and change. We all know what the climate is. It's the weather condition of a place over a period of time. For example, in Nigeria, we know when the rain comes. We know when it goes. And this is very important for our farmers. We still practice what we call rain-fed agriculture. We rely on the rainfall, the natural rainfall for agricultural produce. You know, so the ordinary person in the village can tell you when the rain comes and when it goes, because it has been a practice for several years.
That's right.
Maybe even hundreds of years to be doing that. But scientists have found out that that pattern in many parts of the world, there's now a deviation.
It's changing.
Yes, there's a deviation in that pattern of rainfall. And it has a lot of implications, both social and economic implications, especially for those of us in Nigeria, where our agriculture will still rely on natural rainfall. We are not very scientific yet, you know, to even the resources to do irrigation. Many farmers may not have that. So climate change simply means a deviation in the climatic pattern, you know. So we can no longer, what are the elements of the climate? It's rainfall, temperature. Those are the key elements of our climate.
Okay.
So then the next question we ask ourselves: why is it changing?
Why is it changing?
Why is the climate?
Why is the climate changing?
Yeah, why is the climate changing? I will try to explain this as much as possible. It's technical, but I'll try to explain it as much as possible. Now, if you take a transparent object and place it under the sun, and you place a dark object, what I say, an opaque object, an object that will not allow light to pass through it, you place the two of them under the sun for a period of time, you will notice that the opaque object or the dark object will be hotter than the transparent object. So ordinarily, the rays of the sun, they are supposed to pass through the atmosphere without necessarily heating of the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is transparent.
It's getting technical.
Yes, yeah, getting technical.
Don't forget, you're talking to you're not talking to me, you're talking to the old woman and old man at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but what I'm trying to say is that when the rays of the sun is intersected by an opaque object, heat is released. And that's why if you park a black car under the sun and park a white car, the black car is going to be hotter.
Really?
Yes, the black car is going to be hotter than the white car, because the white car will reflect.
Okay.
While the dark car will stop.
Okay.
The movement.
It's a natural phenomenon.
Yes, I'm coming to a point.
Okay.
So scientists found out that there are certain gases being emitted into the atmosphere. And these gases are mostly carbon dioxide, or the one we call carbon dioxide in the old nomenclature, methane, nitrous oxide, and some other gases. And these gases are being emitted into the atmosphere as a result of man's activity. Okay?
As a result of man's
activity.
So they are saying that humans are contributing to devastating effects of the climate. Am I correct?
Humans are contributing to the causes of climate change.
Okay, yeah.
I prefer to put it that way.
Okay.
To the causes of climate change. Now, these gases, when the rays of the sun are, because of their concentration, and they are increasing on daily basis. Every day, for example, carbon dioxide or carbon dioxide, the concentration of carbon dioxide keeps increasing on daily basis. As we are driving our cars, we are emitting carbon dioxide. As you are running your generator in the house, we are emitting carbon dioxide.
Okay.
As we are burning gas to generate electricity that goes to the national grid, we are emitting carbon dioxide. So the concentration keeps increasing. Now these gases, because of their presence or concentration or increase the concentration in the atmosphere, they are causing the rays of the sun. It is like they're stopping the rays of the sun. Yes, creating heat, releasing heat, and they are heating up the lower atmosphere. And you know, in the atmosphere, temperature is the one that runs things in the atmosphere. For example, for the rain to fall, it's temperature.
Okay.
The movement of the wind is temperature that determines it, because wind will move from a place of high potential to a place of low potential. In other words, when this area is heated up, the gases will be excited as they are moving to a place of a lower temperature, that's the movement that's what causes the movement of the wind. So now this increase in temperature is now causing an imbalance in the atmospheric system. So you now have cases of changing the changes in the weather pattern. So the time the rain is supposed to come, the rain doesn't come on time. We are even having cases of flash floods. Rain will fall for a very short time. Before you know, everybody is flooded. The places is flooded. Then extreme wind.
Okay.
Yes. If I try to go into a little into details.
Extreme wind, but we used to have extreme wind even before now.
Yes, but if you listen to events, it happens in so many other parts of the world. You see tornadoes and the rest of them, and they are causing a lot of destruction of properties, and sometimes even lives being lost during them. So these are extreme events, which is orchestrated or caused by these climatic changes. For example, flash flood, excess rainfall. Rain falls for a short time before you know the whole place is flooded.
In fact, in Abuja, for instance, in fact, for the past 6 months, it has been raining cat and dog almost on daily basis. Sometimes 2-3 times a day. Whereas other parts of the country are praying for rainfall.
Is
it part of the phenomenon too?
It's part of it, because what happened is that the increase in temperature will cause over evaporation in some areas. Those areas may be experiencing dryness, and it will result to over precipitation in other areas. So this will be having excess rainfall. So these temperature changes is the one causing the imbalance in the system, in our climatic system or our weather system. So what we are saying is that man's activity is contributing enormously to these changes in climate change.
I've seen it in a way, but I was going to ask you again, what are the major contributors to this change?
Report has shown that energy generation emits over 60% of greenhouse gases. These gases are actually called greenhouse gases. This carbon dioxide, methane, and the rest of them. Over 60% come from energy generation. Other energy generation, the one we use for electricity, the generation for electricity, industrialization. A lot of countries are gas dependent. So, for example, over 80% of the electricity we generate into the national grid, over 80% come from gas power station, thermal plants. If you go to Europe, the economy is the energy system is highly reliant on gas. Some other countries are using coal. Coal is even dirtier than gas. Some other countries may be using diesel for electricity generation. So all these are every time the plants keep working. Every time that plant works, is emitting these gases into the atmosphere. So the concentration of those gases keeps increasing in the atmosphere. So energy generation is one of the major culprits. For example, we have millions of cars in Nigeria. Every time we run those cars, you move from place to place. CO2
is emitting gas,
being emitted into the atmosphere.
One way or the other, contributing to the ecosystem. Now you have an organization, a project called Scaling Up of Energy Efficient and Climate Friendly Cooling in Nigeria. Whatever that means. How is it helping reducing the negative impact of the climate change?
Now, in the climate
change, an NGO, by the way.
Yes, it's where this project is actually being implemented by the Energy Commission of Nigeria. And the United Nations Environment Program is providing technical assistance, and it's being funded by the Clean Cooling Collaboration. So we have other partners, the National Ozone Office and the Standards Organization of Nigeria in this project. But let me go back to the question you asked: how is this contributing? In the climate change discourse, or there are two ways to address the issue of climate change. We have what we call adaptive strategy. We have the mitigation. Now, under the adaptation, yes, the climate is changing. We all know that it's changing. It's affecting a lot of things. It's affecting agriculture. So how do you now position the farmers or the stakeholders to adapt or cope with the changing weather? So that's adaptation, adaptive strategy. The mitigation is, yes, we know that the emission of the climate change is being caused by human activities, or called anthropogenic activities. Now on the mitigation, what do we do to mitigate or to reduce the emission of these gases?
Okay.
So that's where mitigation comes in.
Yeah, and it's very important.
It's very important. So, but I will be talking more on the mitigation aspect because our project is addressing mitigation.
Okay.
Climate change mitigation.
Okay.
Now, under the mitigation, there are two other strategies under mitigation. Either you use what we call renewable energy. That's one of the ways to mitigate climate change.
Okay.
Because this renewable energy,
which is what your NGO is trying to help Nigeria do, right?
Yeah, that's part of what. No, we are more active. This project is more active on the other one I'm going to mention now.
Okay,
which
fine.
is energy efficiency.
Okay.
You all know what renewable energy. You are familiar with the solar PV systems, and the rest of those are renewable because they don't emit greenhouse gases.
Okay.
Okay, you just use the power of the sun and electricity. That's just one of them. The other renewables like wind and the rest of them. But what we are concerned about in this project is the one I'm going to talk about now, which is energy efficiency. I will define it first of all for our viewers to understand what is energy efficiency, then before I come to the project.
Very important.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Energy efficiency simply means trying to provide some services using less energy without affecting the quality of that service.
Please say it again.
Yeah, I said that energy efficiency is a way of providing or providing some services using less energy without affecting the quality of that service.
I get it.
I will explain.
Okay.
You are familiar with what we call the incandescent light bulbs. I'll use a simple example that everybody will understand. This yellow bulb, I don't know if you're familiar, you still remember the yellow bulb, that's very hot.
Okay, yes.
We call it incandescent light bulbs. Some of them go for 100 watts, some of them go for 200 watts, some for 60 watts.
Okay.
But today, we have better technology than the incandescent, the one that is being used by the incandescent light bulb.
Okay.
We have what we call light emitting diodes, LED bulbs. Okay? Which some of them go for 5 watts, some of them go for 10 watts. Okay? Now, if you have an incandescent light bulb where the luminosity is okay, now you can replace that incandescent light bulb with a 10-watt LED bulb, and you will have even better luminosity. So what you have just done, if you replace a 100-watt bulb with a 10-watt bulb, you have just saved 90 watt peak. Now, I usually give this example. If, for example, 100 people in Nigeria that were using this 100-watt bulb, and all of them replaced their 100-watt bulb, 1 million, with a 10-watt bulb,
yes,
each of them will be saving 90-watt peak. Now, if you multiply that by 1 million, that's 90 million. That's 90 megawatts.
Okay.
Peak reduction. 90 megawatts of peak reduction.
You are talking about how your project is helping
to address,
okay,
issues.
That's right.
Now, if the government was to generate 90 megawatts, it's going to cost government a lot of money to do that, or even the private sector to do that, millions of dollars to do that. But by simply changing behavior, we can pull that out of the national grid, that load out of the national grid.
Okay.
By simply changing behavior, by just telling people replace your inefficient light bulb with your efficient ones. You are saving a lot of energy.
Yes.
We are reducing the energy demand. And once you do that, when you reduce the demand, it has a multiplier effect.
Okay.
It will also reduce
in mitigating.
Yes, mitigating. Okay. So if you were to build a power station of that 90 megawatts, it's going to cost a lot of money, one. And the emission that will be coming from that 90 megawatt that you are going to build would have been reduced.
That's right.
So you are reducing, indirectly, you're also reducing, it's a direct one, you're also reducing the emission of greenhouse gases.
Okay.
Because you don't even need to build that power station.
Ultimately, helping the climate change issue.
Yes, also solving the, because I've said earlier that climate change is caused by the emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So once you reduce the energy demand,
that's right,
indirectly you're also reducing, directly, let me use the word direct, you're also reducing the emission of these greenhouse gases, you know, and of course saving a lot of cost. So this is the entire concept about energy efficiency, what energy efficiency stands for. You're not going to deny yourself of that comfort or that service, but you are spending less energy to provide it. But on our project, scaling up energy efficient and climate-friendly cooling, we are talking about the cooling appliances. Okay. When I make cooling appliances, cooling appliances actually stand for two sets of appliances, refrigerators and air conditioner. But this project is actually addressing air conditioners. The project this current project we are doing is addressing
is air conditioner affecting the climate change too?
Of course.
Really?
Yes. Okay. Let me tell you this. In 2015, the Energy Commission of Nigeria published a report. I was also involved in that study. We collected data from across the 6 geopolitical zones, but in the urban areas, in the cities. We used what we call logger devices, watt meters, to collect energy data. We just go to a volunteer. We plug the equipment onto your AC, to your refrigerator. Okay. We log it for 30 days. In other words, it will take the energy consumption.
Wow.
Record the energy consumption for 30 days. We did that all across the 6 geopolitical zones. You know, so after we collect it, we go back, our team will go back, retrieve the data. We did analysis of that data. And we came up with one of the findings that about 40% of the electricity consumed in residential houses is consumed by cooling, air conditioners and fridges.
Okay.
Then we repeated that study.
So you are saying that air conditioner and fridge,
yes, consume about 40%.
Okay.
Of electricity.
And they consume more than any other appliances.
Many other appliances, yes.
Really? What of iron?
No, we didn't. Our own study focused on specific appliances.
Okay.
Refrigerators, lighting, and air conditioners.
That's what your study
focused on.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Now we repeated a similar study that was in 2015, but this time in public buildings, in government buildings.
Okay.
And we found out that air conditioners alone consume over 60% of the electricity in public buildings.
Wow. In public building, because it's public, it's not their own. If it's in your house.
When I mean government, when I mean public, we're talking about government buildings.
What I'm saying is that if it is your house, you know how to put it off when you're not there. But if it's public building, people just leave it.
Well, probably.
I don't know.
Yes, but we are just telling you what we find, our findings from that.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you can see that if we begin to imbibe the energy efficiency culture, okay, begin to retrofit our old and inefficient cooling appliances with efficient ones, we can have significant savings. There are probably millions of refrigerators and air conditioners in Nigeria. So if we begin to, educate people, again, it will have first of all, the end users will benefit because they will not need to pay high electricity bill. Their bills will be reduced when they move into the use of efficient cooling appliances.
Okay.
So this is what our project is saying. So what the project is not trying to do is to try to accelerate the use or adoption of energy efficient air conditioners. There are a lot of they are gradually coming to the market. Energy efficient air conditioners.
Okay.
Yes, they are gradually coming to the market. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that means this your project is actually, with your studies now, it's actually mitigating the devastating effect of the climate change.
Yes,
from your study so far.
Yes, it's a mitigation measure.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the project is 3 years, from 2022 to 2024. That means it's ending this year.
Yes.
So what happens after that?
Yes. Okay. Before I answer that question, let me quickly tell you about the strategy we are using in the project. Okay. The first strategy, because like, for example, what we are trying to, like I said earlier, what we are trying to see is to accelerate the use of energy efficient air conditioners in the market. In other words, let's encourage people to adopt the use of energy efficient air conditioners.
Okay.
Now, the first strategy we are using is the issue of regulation. That's the first strategy the project is using. There's what we call minimum energy performance standards. All I'm saying is that for the products that come into the market, in terms of energy performance of those products, it should be regulated.
Okay. That means they're working with manufacturers as well?
Of course, we are working with manufacturers.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, the Energy Commission of Nigeria is coordinating the project, is the coordinator of the project. So we have other partners like the Standards Organization of Nigeria, the National Ozone Office under the Federal Ministry of Environment. So that's the first strategy the project is trying to do, because when a particular product is not in the market, end users will not buy them. They will only buy what is in the market. So we have to regulate what comes into the market in terms of energy performance of those products. To measure the energy efficiency of air conditioners, we usually use two metrics. We have what we call the energy efficiency ratio and the seasonal energy efficiency ratio. The energy efficiency ratio of a product of an AC is simply the cooling capacity over the input power. You can calculate it. If you get to your house, check your AC, check the nameplate. They will tell you the cooling capacity. Either they give it in BTU, British Thermal Unit, or they give it in kilowatt. But you can always convert the British Thermal into kilowatt. So you just divide it by the input power. They will also tell you the input power. So it will tell you the energy efficiency ratio. The higher the EERO, the more efficient the product is. In other words, the cooling is being measured by the energy input that is going into it. That's what it means. So now, what this project is trying to do is first of all regulate what comes into the market. So we have before we went to the market. First of all, in our approach, we didn't want to adopt standard from Europe or from the developed countries.
Okay.
So because you have to also be careful not to make your standard too high, because we affect the market. Because the higher the efficiency of a product, the more expensive it is. Yeah. So we also have to look at the issue of affordability. So what we did we're very empirical in our approach. So we went to the market, we collected data from the market. What were we trying to do? The products we have in the market, how efficient are they? We did all the analysis. So after doing the analysis, we now say, okay, our values should be, this is a comfortable zone for our own values to be, our main values to be, that's our standard values should be. So after that study was conducted by the Energy Commission of Nigeria, but the United Nations Environment Program provided technical assistance for that study. So we now made a proposal to the standard, to SON.
Okay.
See, yes, we have gone to the market, this is what we found in the market, but this is what the values should be. So SON would now took the process from there. Okay. So the process has gone to a very advanced stage, but we are waiting for the approval from the government as we stand. Okay. So that is to regulate what comes into the market. Because once a product is in the market, people will not get it to buy. So we want to ensure that what comes into the market, they are efficient. They are efficient products that come into the market. That's our first strategy. Then the second strategy is communication. We need to tell people.
Okay. You need campaign.
Yes, we need to tell people. A lot of people go to the market. We did a study some time ago, and people consider all kinds of things when they are buying products. And many people don't seem to look at the energy performance. But it's the energy performance that will actually tell you on your pockets in the long run. Some people look at the product, they look at the manufacturer, they look at the beauty of the product, they look at maybe the country of origin, so many things. But many people don't seem to look at the energy performance of that product. So the energy performance of that product is what will affect your pocket.
That's
in
right.
the long run. So we're also encouraging people, before you buy a product, look at the product. Yes, another thing we're also trying to do, and that strategy, let me quickly say this because it's very connected to this, what I'm saying now, is labeling. Okay. Energy labels. The project is also trying to ensure through the standards that products coming into the market should have an energy label. The end user should have a pre-information about the energy performance of that product before they buy. You're supposed to know the energy consumption, the rate at which it consumes energy, how efficient it is, so that it will pre-inform your decision.
Okay.
So we're also talking, that's part of the standards.
Yeah, I think you should hold that thought,
okay,
because I'm about to take a break now.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're in this studio now. We have a lot of light here. It's only my engineer Sue that can tell us how many watts there are, and I'm sure it's emitting a lot of to the atmosphere. I don't know, but when we come back, we'll talk more about that. So we have been talking with Mr. Etiosa Uyigue, who is an energy expert, also climate change expert. Now, when we return, we'll continue the discussion. Stay with us. Yeah, was he here talking about climate change? Etiosa Uyigue is here with me. I was trying to say that this studio, okay, the camera cannot pick it now, but we have thousands of watts emitting, whatever I call it. Is it also contributing to the climate change?
Of course.
Okay, tell us more.
Of course, you're using electricity. I have done the connection earlier. For every electricity you consume, there's a commensurate emission somewhere.
Okay.
Yes, of course, emission is going on somewhere. I said it earlier. Over 80% of the electricity that we generate into the national grid come from gas-powered thermal plants. They are burning gas 24 hours in those plants. Yes, we are enjoying the electricity here, but there's an emission going on somewhere.
Oh my God!
There's an emission going on somewhere, everywhere in the world. Apart from those that generate from renewable energy sources, maybe like solar, wind, that will not have any form of emission.
Okay.
Yes, but for plants that rely on fossil fuel, either gas or diesel or PMS, there's an emission going on somewhere. Okay. So you are enjoying the electricity, but the emission is going on somewhere.
Wow.
Yes.
Are we in trouble?
Well,
before you answer that,
yes.
When this climate change thing, the phenomenon came about 10, 15 years ago, we're told that if we're not careful, one day the earth will get burnt.
Yes.
How true is that assertion?
Yes, well, it's an assertion. It's very correct because scientists have been monitoring the trends of things.
Okay.
They've been monitoring the trend of things, and as I speak now, people are monitoring the concentration of these gases in the atmosphere. What the world is trying to do, yes, the global temperature is increasing. The global temperature is increasing. There have been a lot of data to prove that the global temperature is increasing. So what the world is trying to do now, under the UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the next meeting will be in Baku, in Azerbaijan. That's in November. What the world is trying to do now to see how they can limit the rise in temperature.
Yes.
And all what I've been telling you now is the strategy to do that. But once we are able to limit the emission of these gases into the atmosphere, we are also reducing this rise in global rise in global
so
temperature.
with this trend, with this collaboration, with this effort by different organizations, including yours, we are hopeful that the negative impact will not be much.
Yes, that's what all these efforts are they are moving towards.
Okay.
Yeah, to reduce first of all the rise in temperature, to minimize the rise in temperature.
Okay.
And of course,
are we succeeding so far with your organization?
Well, we are succeeding. I would say we are succeeding. The world has actually shown a lot of interest. Okay. Every year, the world gathers in different gathers,
to discuss
this issue of climate change.
And,
the process started in 1992 in Rio, in Brazil.
Okay.
Yes. So every year the world has been meeting to review progress. So this year we are meeting in Baku, in Azerbaijan, to review the progress that has been made. So yes, I would say we are succeeding, but we can do more.
We can do more.
What we are doing now. Yes.
Yeah, but I asked you before, maybe you didn't quite answer the question. Your organization that is folding up, it started 2022 and it's ending at 2024 this year.
Yes.
So.
Okay, you're asking me about the organization.
Yeah.
You have said that it's United Nations.
The project being sponsored by the United Nations, as you said, is it Nations World Bank?
Yes, the United Nations Environment Program.
Okay.
Is one
program. The project that which we are handling now is ending 2024. So after that, what happens?
Oh, after that, what happens? Yes. Okay, yes. I remember you asked that question. The project is structured in a way that even at the end of the project lifespan, the impact will still be felt for years to come. How? The standards we are putting in place. We are supporting the government to put in place on this project. So once those standards are enforced, of course, it will phase out. It will allow more efficient products to come into the market, while the inefficient ones that were there before, gradually they will phase out. So the impact of this project is still going to be felt even after the end of the project. So that's the way. That's the sustainability aspect of this project. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now, accusing fingers have been pointed at some, especially African countries, developing countries. When a project like this is going on, and governments, unfortunately, takes advantage of misfortune to divert funds. I know that World Bank, United Nations, they always contribute to it, providing funds and resources. But governments divert funds meant for this kind of project. Tell us more. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I wouldn't have anything to say about that. But this project is quite unique. It's quite unique when it comes to the management of funds. The management of the funds is a collaboration between the UN Environment Program and our government partners. So we don't really have issues on that.
Okay, fine. Yeah, there's another thing called Clean Cooling Collaborative, CCC.
Yes.
In this laudable project. Tell us more about it.
No, the CCC, the Clean Cooling Collaborative, they are the one funding this project through the UN Environmental Program. So they are providing the financial assistance for this project.
Okay.
So in other words, the cost of this project is being funded by the Clean Cooling Collaborative. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, at the beginning of this program, I gave us a quote by former U.S. President Barack Obama, who said, "Climate change is no longer some far-off problem. It is happening here. It is happening now." What do you think he's talking about?
Yes, I think every country is feeling the impact of climate change. When you watch, if you look at what is happening globally, flooding and a lot of flooding happening in different parts of the world. The thing is, the issue is that we all share the same atmosphere. We all share the same atmosphere. There is no line of demarcation when it comes to the atmosphere.
Okay.
And like I said, these emissions go into the atmosphere. So it will affect everybody. No country is exempted from it.
Wow.
No country is exempted from the impact of this.
Because it's in the atmosphere.
Yes, the atmosphere. So we all share the same. So that's why, to solve it, everybody will also have to come together to solve the problem. And that's what the world has been trying to do in the United Nations Framework Convention process. Discussing the issue, coming up with protocols and agreement, on how to reduce emission, and for some places how to adapt where they already, or yes, some places are already feeling the impact, whereas they are already seeing the impact, so you also have to support them to adapt or cope with the changes.
Okay. Now, for the purpose of emphasis, what are the core negative impact of climate change on humans? Because it's the humans, the human beings that are contributing to the change. So what are the negative impact on humans and other living things?
Okay. Now let me start first of all with I have talked about agriculture for us here. Talked about with the kind of agriculture we practice here, rain-fed agriculture. So it depends on the ability for the farmers to predict when the rain comes and when it goes. If they are not able to predict that, there are some years they are going to run into a lot of losses. I remember a particular year, the rain just stopped abruptly. And people still have their beans. It has not matured to a particular level for the thing to cope with the dry season.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of losses, So that's part of it. Then some places will be experiencing extreme weather condition. I've been watching, I've seen all over the globe, flooding happen, even in the developed world.
Yeah, flooding. Yes.
The flooding is affecting
everywhere.
them.
Yes.
Yeah, and when it affects them, you sometimes hear human loss of life.
Yeah.
Economic losses.
Maiduguri is still counting the
losses. They are still counting their losses. Then the other impact is the issue of sea level rise. Places like Lagos, we have to be bracing up. All the cities around the coast. Yeah, the sea level rise. Yeah, okay. It's part of the.
And of course, it will spill over to.
Yeah, it will spill over.
Yes.
So you have to be bracing up for because scientists have found out that the sea level is rising, and if it continues to rise.
Why is it rising? Where is it coming from?
Yeah, of course, I've said it earlier.
Okay, maybe from through rain.
Yes, excessive rain.
Okay.
And of course, increase in temperature. The increase in temperature.
Wow.
Is because there are some parts of the world where the water is perpetually on ice. If you go to the North Pole, their water is perpetually on ice. But because of the increase in temperature, those polar ice, they are melting. And of course, when they are melting, we actually have one sea. There's this division like Atlantic Ocean, and there's actually one sea, one ocean. We have actually one ocean. Those divisions are just human-made division, So the polar ice they are melting, and they are increasing the volume of water in the sea. So this is part of the things that causing the sea level to rise. Then the other impact is, let's look at the issue of diseases, health. Okay. It's also impacting the health. Now scientists have found out that malaria is, we all know malaria. Malaria is caused by is transmitted by the mosquito.
Yes.
They found out that the mosquito, their increase in temperature accelerates their development. That will reach maturity faster at higher temperature. So we are going to have incidents cases because of there are some places where malaria is not
prevalent.
It's not prevalent. It's not found especially in the North Pole. But we're going to have, with the increase in temperature, we're going to have a situation where these diseases will now spread to those areas.
Okay.
Because the temperature is now becoming, the climate is now becoming favorable for the breeding of the mosquito.
Wow.
So there are a lot of that, but I've just mentioned a few of those likely impacts of climate change, and that's why we need to take action as quick as possible.
Okay.
And the action is going to be a collective action, because, like I said, we share the same climate, we all share the same atmosphere.
That's right. Talking about action, as we begin to wind down, do you think federal government of Nigeria is doing enough to cushion the effect of climate change?
Yes, the government is doing their best. Let's be frank about that. There are a lot of policies that have been rolled out, For example, there's a policy on renewable energy and energy efficiency that was approved in 2015. There are also a lot of policies on climate change. And again, the government also have several initiatives they are doing. Because the government also have, the Nigerian government has made a commitment under the NDC. NDC is the Nationally Determined Contribution. You know, they made a commitment to reduce their emission by 20% if unassisted, unconditionally, but if assisted, they can do up to about 47%. So the government is doing a lot now to see how they can achieve that target they've set in the NDC. So okay. Maybe they are doing their best, but they can do more. The government can do more. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, who are the collaborators? You have mentioned World Bank, United Nations, and other agencies. What are the other collaborators in the quest to mitigate or assuage the negative effect of climate change?
Yes, of course, the stakeholders it's actually everybody. Everybody is supposed to be on board, but we have government stakeholders. Okay, I've mentioned some of them. Yeah, then of course we have the private sector. You know, for example, many of the standards the government is trying to roll out now to mitigate this climate change or promote energy efficiency. The recipient of some of these standards are the private sector, the manufacturers. So these are key. Of course, we also have the NGOs. They have to also be on board, you know, in terms of advocacy, in terms of communication, awareness creation, to reaching out to the rural communities. So we need to put the non-governmental organizations are also very vital. And of course, the end users too. All of us have a role to play.
That's
right.
You can
be patriotic. You know, when the energy you save in your house is made available to somebody else. So let's be patriotic. Whenever you save, you are making it available to somebody else.
Wow.
So it's a collective effort, you know.
That's right. Yeah. Well, climate change, it refers to a long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns. Such shifts can be natural due to changes in the sun's activity or large volcanic eruptions. But since the 1880s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. Mr. Etiosa Uyigue, what is your final word as we begin to wind down?
Yes, my word for everybody, we talk about energy efficiency. Saving energy saves the environment, and it also saves your pocket. So let us imbibe the culture of energy efficiency. It will go a long way. Let's be patriotic.
All right.
Thank you.
On that note, let me thank you once again for coming on our program Conversation. The program will be on again next week. Until then, I'm Reuben Okala saying bye for now.